It is the morning of Thursday, January 9th, here at Yesod Farm and Kitchen in Fairview, North Carolina. In today's daily Talmud study, towards the end of the page, an interesting question is asked, and what is the reward for someone who brings joy to a groom on their wedding day? And a few different analogies are made, but the two that interest me the most are someone who brings joy to a groom, or I think we could say joy to either of the parties of a wedding couple on their wedding day, is as if they have brought a korban todah, as if they have brought a thanksgiving offering. The thanksgiving offering that was brought in the temple is an interesting offering in that it is a nidava. It was a free will offering. It was an offering that was made not by obligation, but by choice. So anyone could bring an offering to express gratitude in the moments in which they chose, but there were also specific individuals that were expected and perhaps obligated to bring a Thanksgiving offering in particular moments, that being someone who was released from captivity, someone who found healing after an illness, someone who found safety after danger, someone who went out to sea and came back safely, again an experience of potential danger and surviving, and other things of similar varieties. And so when we experience that vulnerability and make it through with security, then we express gratitude. And the next analogy made is that someone who brings joy to a couple on their wedding day is as if they have rebuilt one of the ruins of Yerushalayim, rebuilt one of the ruins of Jerusalem. And so what we see is this connection between joy and security, and joy and redemption. And that joy is not a product of redemption, but is an ingredient in the recipe of redemption. In the Jewish tradition, the most joyous time of year is the time of harvest. We refer to the Chag HaSukkot, we refer to the festival of Sukkot as Zman Simchatenu, the time of our rejoicing, and the obligation to bring first fruit offerings from the first harvest of grain produce that is grown begins at Shavuot in the early summer, and it continues through Sukkot in the fall. And this is something that interests me particularly because we express this joy in this season of harvest that begins in the early summer and continues and culminates in the fall. But in the course of that time period, we also encounter Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, a day of collective mourning for the destruction of the temples in Yerushalayim and the exiles that our people have experienced and still experience. And so how is it that we're able to bring our Bikurim offerings, our first fruit offerings, even during the season of our mourning in the 3 weeks between the second half of Tammuz and the end of the first week, or towards the beginning of the second week of the month of Av, which is a time of mourning for us? So how can we bring this joyous harvest offering during a time of mourning? And the tradition says that the experience of collective joy of harvest supersedes the experience of collective mourning at Tisha B'Av and the 3 weeks that precede it. And so again, what we learn from this teaching in the Talmud is not just that we experience joy out of redemption, but that our joy brings the process of redemption closer. And so in a world in which so many people experience the food insecurity that is so rampant throughout the world, it becomes our obligation to fulfill the wonderful ideal in the Jewish tradition that everybody eats, that we ensure systems of equity and justice so that everyone can participate in the joy of bringing the redemption that the entire world so much deserves and needs. Have a wonderful day.